Call on Fred Redmond and Mark Perrone to report on the outstanding work of the AFL-CIO Labor Commission on racial and economic injustice.
We are a nation divided, and this is not by accident. Politicians and corporations intentionally use charged rhetoric and divisive tactics to pit us one against another. So we are here in St. Louis with the shared goal of building a larger, stronger, and more inspiring labor movement to meet the needs of America's working people. At our last convention, we adopted a resolution that continued our work toward building a more diverse and inclusive labor movement, because we recognize that when we're fighting with each other, we're not fighting for each other. And we recognize the need to have tough conversations at all levels of the labor movement and take a hard look at how inclusive the labor movement really is. So our work toward a more divisive and inclusive labor movement led to the formation of the AFL-CIO Labor Commission on Racial and Economic Justice, sparked in part by the 2014 shooting in Ferguson, just a few miles away from where we gather today. And this resolution, it builds on the progress made over the many years to form a more inclusive labor movement. It establishes a clear goal of ensuring our leadership and decision-making structures reflect the diversity of our members and all working people. Now I am honored to introduce my friend, my partner throughout this journey, the President of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, President Mark Perrone.
Thank you, Fred. It's been a joy working with you and the entire commission, and I also want to thank the staff that assisted us during that period. Between July 2015 and March 2016, we held hearings in Alameda County, California, Birmingham, Alabama, Boston, Cleveland, Minneapolis, and yes, right here in St. Louis. I walked away from those meetings convinced of one thing. There is much more that unites us than divides us. Clearly, we have more work to do, though. And this resolution is about doing exactly that. But our union family is ready to move forward, united as one. We won't shy away from the tough issues that we have to deal with. We'll do everything in our power to rid our movement and this nation of racism. So on behalf of the Resolutions Committee, which recommends the adoption, I move Resolution 16 for adoption, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you, Mark. It's moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 16. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes the delegate at mic 1.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. My name is Doug Moore, and I'm the Executive Director of AFSCME UDW Local 3930, located in San Diego, California. I'm also an International Vice President. I rise in support of Resolution 16, ensuring inclusion and equity both internally and externally. My union, AFSCME, is a diverse union that has always stood for racial and economic justice, solidarity, and equality. As a union, we are committed to being a leader in the fight to win racial and economic justice and to bridging the gap that exists in too many of our cities among members of our communities. We know we are not alone in our principled commitment to building an inclusive labor movement and society. Our values are broadly shared by the sisters and brothers in this room and by the labor movement more generally. Our experiences makes it clear that creating a diverse and inclusive labor movement is something we must work on every single day. At my union, AFSCME, we have devoted time and resources to address important issues of diversity and inclusion and to educate ourselves on implicit bias. Although each union must develop its own programs and processes for addressing issues of inclusion, we must join together in unity to commit to action. At a time when our adversaries, even the President of the United States, have sought to divide us and have deployed divisive political strategies based on racist appeals and the stoking of resentment, we must stand together and lead by example. We stood together yesterday when Black Lives Matter protesters came to the convention center during their protest of the Stockley verdict. The convention center locked the doors to keep them out and us in. But we refused to be kept apart from our community that was here to let us know that they will not stand for state-sanctioned violence against our brothers and sisters in Missouri. Sisters and brothers, it is this example that we must continue to employ if we want to be a leader in the fight to win racial and economic justice. Our members and American society expect nothing less, and I wholeheartedly support this resolution as a great starting point for the efforts to ensure the labor movement at all levels reflect our membership and our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Doug. Chair recognizes the delegate at mic 2.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Maria Soma, and I'll be very brief. I am a woman, I am a person of color, and I am a proud immigrant from Vietnam. But the proudest identity that I have is that I am a member of the United Steelworkers Local 1088, and I rise in support of this resolution because we know if we do not stand together, then we will fall. We know that if we do not join and are united, then they will win. And you know who they are. So again, I proudly rise in support of this resolution, and I ask this body to stand firm in its commitment to be inclusive to everybody, anyone, anywhere. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the delegate at mic 1.
Good afternoon. My name is Lavette McGill. I represent as a delegate today from the South Florida AFL-CIO. I stand in solidarity with everyone in this room to support Resolution 16 on inclusion and equality. Being born in the 50s, raised in the South, seeing my uncles come home with their head bloody for wanting to register others to vote, it's time. Why are we still 50 years from that time fighting the same fights and facing the same struggle? As a black woman in the labor movement and a member of a male-dominated industry, the International Longshoremen's Association, I am tired of fighting. Asa Philip Randolph, my mentor, gave me the courage to know that everyone in the land of the free and the home of the brave deserves to be respected, loved, and if we don't love each other, who's gonna love us? I stand in support, Mr. Chair. Thank you.